The most desirable man in the world is about to appear on the most watched TV show in America.
Please welcome Brad Pitt!
Brad Pitt's story could begin here in 1998 in the excitement of a glamorous decade of which he was the then sex symbol. The image is a precious one. It enables us to see how far he has come from this pretty boy object of desire to the iconic actor snapped up by Hollywood's greatest filmmakers.
Welcome to Fight Club.
A world-famous personality whose star has never waned.
I think this just might be my masterpiece.
An ideal trajectory, except for one detail. This perfection that weighs on him like a curse.
Look at you. You're perfect.
Since this show, has Brad Pitt's story really evolved? In the eyes of the public, has he ever embodied anything other than this male blonde beauty? Have 3 decades of cinema been enough to fracture this image, which, while being the key to his phenomenal success, has become a burden?
So, JD, what are you studying in school?
Human nature. Oh, look. Yeah, I'm a majoring in behavioral science.
Is disconcertingly natural, as Ridley Scott recalls.
Brad just came up with a casting session, and Lou DeGimo Lou was casting for me, and he was it, really, instantly. There was no...
Brad Pitt's natural ease in portraying this character could perhaps be due to the fact that both men hail from the same America. Oklahoma City, where the character in the film is headed, is precisely the place where the actor was born in 1963. He'll spend his childhood not far from there, a little further up Route 66 in Springfield, Missouri, a medium-sized town in the American Midwest. The eldest of 3 children, Brad Pitt was raised in a peaceful suburban neighborhood, in an ideal family such as Springfield prides itself on attracting. Every weekend, the Pitts would go to the Ozarks, a particularly well-preserved mid-mountain range.
I came out from the Ozarks. It's Mark Twain country, it's Jesse James country. A lot of hills, a lot of lakes. I got my first BB gun preschool.
Here, the young boy is immersed in an America untouched by modernity, unchanged since the days of Jesse James, a local legend whose stories lulled young Americans to sleep. A Midwest frozen in time, very attracted to its folklore and to its image of the American Garden of Eden. Around the age of 10, he discovers the cinema. Every Saturday, he devours the movies shown there, particularly westerns, such as Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, in which a certain Robert Redford fascinates him.
Think you used enough dynamite there, Butch?
It's from this film-loving youth that his desire to become an actor is born. And just before graduating from college, he'll draw up the courage to leave Missouri without even telling his parents.
I packed up my car. I didn't graduate. I had 2 weeks left, and I moved out to LA. I get there with like the cliche goes, with my beat up Datsun, and I had $275 to my savings. Well, I knew where I wanted to go. I had a direction. I always liked those moments of epiphany when when you have the next destination.
Direction, Hollywood, to meet the outside world and his destiny as an actor.
I landed in Burbank, and I got the paper, and I found some extra agencies, and by the end of that week, I paid my $25 to join up, and I was an extra.
Brad Pitt then experiences the life of thousands of other aspiring actors, sharing lodgings and starting at the bottom. Commercials, soap operas, TV movies, sitcoms. Having never taken any acting classes, he finds working television, where demand was at its highest. Brad Pitt lands a small role in the TV series Dallas, which gets him noticed.
I'm Randy. Nice to meet you, sir.
Well, it's no secret anymore. Brad Pitt's made 2 of the last 5 issues of People magazine. He is what Star magazine calls the hunky new Dallas star.
It's just been snowballing like this, and that's what I'm talking about being taken care of, because there's no way that someone in my position, a dork from Missouri who had no training, should be, I don't know, I feel really thankful.
It happens,
Thanks.
though.
She's so nice.
But the euphoria will be short-lived. The snowball effect that he talks about here remains limited to the small screen. After 5 years of minor roles, there are no signs that his fate will be any different to that of his former roommate, Jason Priestley, a Beverly Hills star who would never make it to the silver screen. Television, which was supposed to bring him closer to his dream, takes him farther away from it. Brad Pitt begins to resign himself.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of television for me is a fast food fashion show, a lot of it. And it's because of money and time, and I understand it has to be that way, but it gets kind of frustrating. That's me, though. I'm not paying the bills.
Out of necessity, he lends his male model physique to a banal commercial, little suspecting that it would change the course of his career. It's in this non-speaking role, requiring minimum effort, that he'll be spotted for Thelma Louise. In fact, the young actor's physical presence alone was enough to get him noticed. Nothing's more eloquent than a body naturally made for the movies.
Then I just kind of waltz on in, and I say,
Entering the film as an unknown, he'll come out of it a sex symbol. A year later, Brad Pitt appears in the cast of A River Runs Through It.
My brother Paul and I grew up in a time when the land was still untouched.
A story of brothers in the bucolic setting of an America of yesteryear that echoes his own youth.
It's the classic story of an American family from Academy Award-winning director Robert Redford.
The film is directed by his childhood idol. Quite a symbol for the young actor. Hollywood in person has opened its doors to him.
well, I actually heard about it about a year before. And I heard Robert Redford was doing a film about 2 brothers in Montana. And it was those 3 elements right there.
This is the first episode in a relationship that's destined to continue. 10 years later, the 2 men will co-star in the spy film Spy Game, which sees Redford's character passing the torch to Pitt, his heir.
So when do I get my first assignment? When I decide you're ready.
But in the early 90s, Brad isn't quite there yet.
You have a lot of scenes on the river, in the river.
Yeah, thank God. That's all right.
You like that?
Look, I grew up in the Ozarks, so I'm going to do all right. Better than a soundstage, sure do.
Brad Pitt has understood the lesson. The less he talks, the more convincing he is. But there's another law. The industry is quick to label you. Legends of the Fall enlists him again as the face of an idealized America and of the folklore of his childhood. Already, the actor is trapped in a stereotype, that of the country boy, eyed greedily like a delicacy.
And does he speak English?
Just a few films suffice to make him the embodiment of virginal beauty and of a Hollywoodian glamour returned to its state of grace. In 1994, for its promotion, Interview with a Vampire counts on the teaming up of the two sexiest male stars of their generation.
Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Interview with the Vampire.
But the two headliners aren't at the same stage. Tom Cruise, then in search of complex roles, is seeking to shed his playboy image. His bite here is that of an actor freeing himself from his burden by inflicting it on another. Brad Pitt inherits from his screen partner a title he could well have done without. The Faustian Pact suddenly reveals the other side of the coin. His status as a sex symbol is a dead end.
What is that? Who's that?
It's up to him to find the film that will free him from this glossy image. Just like the film's groundbreaking opening credits, Seven is his act of rebellion. That of a stereotyped actor eager to dirty his pretty face in the blackness of a neo-noir thriller. The film follows the investigation of two detectives on the trail of a serial killer whose murders are inspired by the 7 deadly sins.
You were right. He's preaching.
Yeah. His murders are his sermons to us.
The opportunity for Brad Pitt to rub shoulders with an unwholesome universe imbued with religious fanaticism, which interests him particularly. For the kid from Missouri, this element has its importance. Springfield, his childhood town, is located in the Bible Belt, a vast area in the southern United States where Protestant fundamentalism is practiced. The Pitt siblings were raised in the Baptist faith, the strictest branch of Protestantism.
We grew up Southern Baptist. It was, it was Sunday school and do good and Bible study and daily prayer.
A docile and church-going childhood where religion is law. Brad Pitt will be the only one in his family to turn his back on this world.
I was very curious about the world even at a young age, and I became aware that other nations and other cultures didn't believe the same, and they believed in different religions. And my question is, well, why don't they get to go to heaven then? And the answer was always, well, everyone gets a chance.
Seven represents what Brad Pitt dreamed of doing by fleeing the Bible Belt. Films that expose the violence of America and the Puritanism that he knows so well. The moral values of which sometimes serve as an excuse for the worst acts.
I won't deny my own personal desire to turn each sin against the sinner.
Wait a minute, I thought all you did was kill innocent people.
Innocent? Is that supposed to be funny? An obese man? A disgusting man who could barely stand up?
Yeah.
The same year as Seven, the actor seizes the opportunity to collaborate with former Monty Python member Terry Gilliam.
We decided he really had to train for this role because his voice didn't have the qualities needed to do it. And Brad worked really hard at this.
Walking around like this, and they need to know, and they need to know something. You gotta tell them, you gotta wake them up. You gotta go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
He learns to use his physique not only for its photogenicity, but as an instrument in its own right.
Suddenly I felt like bending the fucking bars back and ripping up the goddamn window frames and eating them. Yes, eating them and leaping. Colonics for everyone.
Winning a Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor, his performance affirms his ambitions as an actor.
Thank you, Hollywood Foreign Press, for this moment of absolute terror. Thank you to Terry Gilliam for the Terry Gilliam experience. Yeah, one that won't be forgotten.
But the new direction taken in Seven isn't enough to erase the primary reasons for his success.
What's the secret to being the sexiest man alive?
Man, if I knew, listen, I don't know how that happened, that debacle. But I'm sure it's all evil, and I try to stay away from it.
An evil curse. The actor couldn't have put it better. In the year 2000, 5 years after winning the title, Brad Pitt will be the first personality to be elected Sexiest Man Alive for the second time.
It's the one you've all been asking for. Brad Pitt.
Since Thelma Louise, Brad Mania has reached uncontrollable proportions. The darkness of his last roles wasn't enough to break the spell. The actor remains first and foremost an object of desire.
I love Brad Pitt. I've loved you since my freshman year of high school, and I want to meet you so bad. I think he's got a really cute nose. It's so cute.
On the screen, a scene is always used as a pretext to undress him, to inspect him from every angle, as if the industry was eager to show off its most beautiful product. At the end of the 1990s, Brad Pitt is more than ever the face of this marketing of glamour. Sitcoms, commercials, boy bands, porn, soap operas, platinum locks at all hours, Barbie dolls on every channel. The sex symbol of Thelma and Louise has become the flagship product of this decade of excessive desirability. Sexy overdone to a ridiculous extreme. As this love scene wonderfully illustrates, where he finds himself stripped for the upteenth time like the unpacking of a figurine.
The movie's 2 hours and 45 minutes, and they had to take that clip.
Yeah.
The strangest thing is suddenly being looked at and watched and judged in a way. I mean, I don't know what I was expecting. You know, you're putting yourself in that ring. I just didn't think that far ahead. And I found it very discombobulating. I was very, very uncomfortable with the focus. I think one of the lovely things about where I grew up is it's considered great hubris to talk about yourself.
Because, you know, there are scenes in Meet Joe Black, for example, when you guys are saying absolutely nothing. You know, where I don't know where they have that camera. Is it like on your forehead or on her forehead? Because this is some of the closest close-ups I've ever seen, where you're just really nice to look at and to look into your eyes.
Just shut up and look pretty is the price to pay for his pact with success.
You look too skinny, though. You're always looking too skinny.
You say that every time.
I know, but you are. I realize it.
Show business doesn't care how good an actor he is, so long as he remains this poster boy available to his audience.
You should do a romantic comedy sometime, something sort of light and airy and...
I thought about it. I don't know. Feel it out.
Yeah, you sort of just see what comes your way.
Right.
What are you working on now?
I'm working on a thing called the Fight Club.
And tell me about that.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
What's it about?
What? I want you to hit me as hard as you can. That's David Fincher directing, who directed Seven. It's about two guys who start this amateur boxing league for underprivileged youth and the woman who comes between them.
Ah.
But we twisted a bit.
Okay, I got it.
I got it. Shit, I lost it.
Violent, insolent, vulgar, Fight Club deceives all expectations. The film is a masochistic comedy with, as a kind of running gag, the presence of the sexiest man alive, here to get beaten to a pulp. Here, above all, to have this perfect body explore all its possible states. Pummeled in a car wreck, burnt with acid, emptied of its fluids, doused with fat, pierced with a bullet. 7 was an attempt to damage him. Fight Club is successful. The film exhibits Brad Pitt not as a star, but as a body, filled with blood, organs, sweat, and sexual savagery on a scale never before tolerated in Hollywood.
What are you doing?
Just going to bed.
You want to finish her off?
The actor enjoys himself like rarely before, pushing the limits of offensiveness and blocking the studio censorship, as David Fincher reveals.
This is Brad's idea, the rubber glove, where he kind of points in the background and says, you want to finish her off. And I remember the studio came back with saying, you have to get rid of that. It's like, there's no way. That is not funny. It is too awful. You had to put a rubber glove on her. I said, that was Brad's idea. Tell him, if you got a problem with it, you should call him.
The film pokes fun at everything, starting with Brad Pitt. He, the blonde boy from 7 Years in Tibet, the marquee of which appears mockingly in the background. He, whose male model body is reflected ironically in the commercial posters.
I felt sorry for guys packed into gyms, trying to look like how Calvin Klein or Tommy Hilfiger said they should.
That what a man looks like? Self-improvement is masturbation.
He, the consumer product, who would have us believe in his anti-consumerist revolt.
We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't.
With Brad Pitt at the helm, the film is a vast deception, tending more towards a display of self-assassination and mockery than the scathing attack on society it's claimed to be.
Splicing single frames of pornography into family films? Nice big cock.
After Fight Club, nothing would ever be the same again. Considered too violent on its release, the film is shunned by the public, especially women to whom Brad Pitt owes his success. This is precisely what the sex symbol was looking for: to chip his glamour boy image, to break the spell. Fight Club sharpens his sense of self-mockery. In the 2000s, he continues in this direction, choosing other black comedy films, directed by filmmakers whose work he admires, like Quentin Tarantino or Guy Ritchie.
The thing is about Brad Pitt is he's very funny, and I don't think anyone's really ever capitalised on that before, but he is a funny bastard. And it is nice to do something where he's not taking himself seriously. And he doesn't take himself seriously in this, and, you know, it's a bit of a piss-take part.
In the red corner, we have the young and unchallenged.
So, Mickey, you're going down in the fourth. Is that clear?
Just make sure he doesn't kill me before the fucking fourth.
In Snatch, he plays a gypsy boxer who's impossible to take seriously. As shown in this acrobatic making-of, the actor takes a new step forward in the physical expression of his art, having fun with his body to give a burlesque inflection to his manly performances. Somewhere between Rocky Balboa and Buster Keaton. The Coen brothers then think of Brad Pitt for the role of a fitness coach in Burn After Reading, offering him the opportunity to push the male dumb blonde stereotype to its absurd extreme.
Too much?
I just felt a straining, a tightness on the front of my ass.
I'm gonna check in with my office. I'll be right back. When we do, we're gonna work on opening those hips.
Delighted by this infidelity to his own image, the actor isn't remotely put off by the extreme idiocy of his character, throwing himself into the role as few stars of his stature would dare to do.
Every time I'm afraid that I'm the biggest knucklehead, then I see Brad in a pair of spandex shorts, and I think, well, I'll be okay.
Bloodthirsty, over-the-top, American. His character as a Nazi killer in Inglourious Bastards once again beats records in outrageousness.
Each and every man under my command owes me 100 Nazi scalps. And I want my scalps.
It's because of this taste for caricature that Quentin Tarantino had thought of him when writing the role.
One of the biggest reactions in the movie he did was completely different from how I thought it would be, was his buongiorno. In my mind, he pulled it off a little bit more. And then when he said it that way, it was at the script reading, and it killed. And then after he said it, I was like, well, God, now I can't, now you've ruined it for me. I can't hear it any other way. I don't have a choice. I have to do it that way.
Dies hier ist der hervorragende Sensationsdarsteller Enzo Gorlon.
Buongiorno, signorine.
Exaggerating his native accent, Brad Pitt plays on this crude American presence to pull the film towards comedy, now become his preferred genre.
Grazie.
There's just this character and behavior that comes out, and that can't be written. The physiology to actually make the character come alive, and he's just kind of a genius about that.
By poking fun at his own stereotypes since Fight Club, Brad Pitt has fought fire with fire. At least that's what he thinks. Because everything he attempts to chip his image is invariably turned around to the benefit of his glamour. His appearance in Friends alongside Jennifer Aniston, his then wife, is that of an actor at ease in the tongue-in-cheek, aware of being condemned to sexy whatever he does.
God, I hate her, Ross. I hate her.
Wow, really got that sexy smoldering thing going on.
Irony and coolness are now added to his physical beauty. But this insouciance has a price. Promoted by the 90s generation, the star system was then thriving. It was a time when certain actors signed up for 15 years of franchises, such as Tom Cruise or Johnny Depp. At the risk, confirmed since then, of making nothing else but blockbusters.
This will be the greatest war the world has ever seen. We need the greatest warrior.
In the mid-2000s, Brad Pitt also appears in blockbusters. But the actor feels limited. At 40 years old, this blondness, this heroism, this virile manliness takes him back to the Greek god image he thought he'd left behind. Accepted reluctantly due to a contract binding him to Warner, Troy represents a turning point for the actor. But his destiny is written elsewhere, far from these monumental film shoots.
He was growing into middle age. He considered himself a Southern loyalist and guerrilla in a civil war that never ended. He regretted neither his robberies nor the 17 murders that he laid claim to. He had seen another summer under in Kansas City, Missouri.
The actor prefers a personal film project to an extravagant production. In the role of Jesse James in his declining years, Brad Pitt returns to his native region. Far from the folklore of his childhood, the film portrays the famous outlaw as a dark and paranoid character, stripped of the glamour of the myth.
I'll creep up behind that cashier, and I'll cock his head back like so.
And I'll say, how did you get to reach your 20th birthday without leaking out all of your clothes? And if I don't like his attitude, I will slit that Phil Doodle so deep he will flop on the floor like a fish.
So, in the career standpoint, you're going to make these movies that you want to make, yes?
Mm-hmm. If my only barometer at this point is if I'm proud of the film, and I think this is a really good film, and it's not for everyone. It's for what I would call a connoisseur of film. But I think of all my favorite films, or most of my favorite films, the majority of them I found well after their release. It's a film lover's film. Yeah.
In addition to an out-of-character performance, the film offers the actor a mirror in which he sees a reflection of himself. Murdered by an admirer, Jesse James is here the inverted reflection of the cowboy drifter of Thelma and Louise, the metaphor of a fame that has consumed him since this first success made him the prey of paparazzi.
Thank you all very much.
The assassination of Jesse James is a profession of faith. That of an actor, a film lover, who has also become the producer of his films. His personal involvement will be the key to the success of Plan B, his production company.
I think the original intention, which I attribute to Brad, really was to create a harbor, if you will, a safe place for original story, narrative that hasn't been told before, stories that might require sort of extra safekeeping as you keep their original intention pure all the way to the screen.
Brad Pitt is an unfailing support for filmmakers, such as Andrew Dominic, all of whose films he'll produce.
Well, our relationship has always been like, he's always been performed the producerial function. I mean, Brad, I think at this stage in his career is concerned about his legacy, and he wants to make, wants to use his powers for good, and he's trying to make movies. Him and Dee Dee Gardner are trying to make movies that perhaps otherwise wouldn't get made.
We follow filmmakers that we really respect, and for a while there was this period where big budget tentpole films, action films were getting made, and then films under 10 million if you wanted to do something risky, and there was this whole gap in between. I mean, we first got in just trying to help some of these, these people we believed in get their film to the finish line.
Once again, following the example of his elder, Plan B is for Brad Pitt what the Sundance Film Festival was for Robert Redford. A way for the two sexiest actors of their generation to refute the superficiality of their image by championing auteur-driven film projects.
And we try as best we can to come behind it and push that back out in the marketplace and encourage the work to be seen.
This behind-the-scenes work soon pays off. In less than 10 years, several films produced by Plan B have won awards at the most prestigious film festivals.
We want to thank Plan B Entertainment.
The Big Short, about the subprime crisis.
Amazing Brad Pitt.
For Moonlight.
Or Moonlight, about sexual and racial discrimination.
Thank you, Plan B. And the Oscar goes to...
Right up to the most coveted of awards.
12 Years a Slave, Brad Pitt.
That night, the Oscar for Best Picture is not only an honor for its producer, it reveals the invisible work of a star no longer devoted entirely to his own career, but to the films of others.
There are a lot of people need to thank, so I'll just push on.
to my wonderful cast and crew, Plan B, Brad Pitt, who, without him, this film would just not have been made.
We're big fans of Steve, and we started talking with him and having discussions about what he wanted to do next, and it led to this. And so first it starts as support of the filmmakers we really believe in, but two, the subject matter, I mean, he asked a big question: why are there not more films about American slavery? Why hasn't it been more American films? And it was the right question.
It's the producer of 12 Years a Slave who asks this question. A film that takes a frontal look at the slave trade in America. But the question could also come from the native of Springfield. In April 1906, the city was the scene of a highly publicized lynching. Brad Pitt knows that the laws of racial segregation reigned there until 1966, 3 years after his birth. Plan B's films scrape beneath the surface of this America, where racism and discrimination still reign. The kid from the Bible Belt is well placed to know what conservative agenda the tradition of religious worship serves. During the 2012 campaign, his mother went public with her rejection of President Obama, offended, she said, by his support for same-sex marriage and abortion. Her son, meanwhile, is seen alongside Barack Obama, of whom he is one of the discreet donors.
That's Brad Pitt there.
Discreet because he wants to keep this divergence of opinion private. His already distant relationship with his family doesn't need this publicity. But with Brad Pitt, nothing stays private for very long. His notoriety has never waned. Even less so since he and Angelina Jolie, one of the most famous actresses in the world, became a couple. Since 1991 and his success in Thelma Louise, at least 3 paparazzi cars are parked day and night in front of his house.
What officer? Okay, Brad, please just one real quick before you jump in. No.
Now, most movie stars have their obsessed fans, but few have devotees who also break into their homes, sleep in their beds, and try on their clothes, while Brad was away after buying the castle.
This type of news item forces Brad Pitt and his family to limit their outings to the strict minimum.
Listen, it's a very strange thing to be selling photos of something that's very intimate and personal, and those of which you want to protect. We knew, we have to plan an escape every day to get out of the house. Kind of a mission impossible with decoys, and that's the life we live in.
The film sets have become a refuge for the actor, as shown in this shoot alongside his friend David Fincher, a witness to the nightmare that's become the actor's fame.
I forget how just stupid the world is around and about Brad. I guess because I know how uncomfortable it makes him, I guess I just sort of hope that it's receding or in some way diminishing, because it certainly doesn't make his life any easier or any more enjoyable.
And then door opens, boom.
We were shooting in downtown LA, and these 2 women who were walking were intent in their conversations, and they realized that they were about to run into somebody, and they both turned and they looked at him, and they both dropped to their knees screaming. And I it was horrible.
In the 2010s, Brad Pitt's roles move away from comedy towards a more serious register, more conducive to reflection. As if, now in his 50s, the time had come for this discreet man to confess his burden. From film to film, it's the same character, the same solitude.
That's my bar. My bar is here.
The solitude of a workaholic devoted to his art, like this baseball manager in Moneyball.
If we win on our budget with this team, we'll change the game.
A small stretch of the imagination would suffice to see this film as a hidden portrait of the independent producer, devoting himself entirely to his passion to the detriment of his family life. The solitude, again, of a man in an unhappy marriage, seeking a semblance of comfort in alcohol. The addiction of this writer character, directed by Angelina Jolie, echoes a very real propensity. After his breakup with Angelina Jolie, which this film seems to announce, Brad Pitt will go public with his rehab, confessing to finally ending a 30-year addiction to alcohol.
Is a split heard around the world.
Angelina Jolie filed for divorce from Brad Pitt,
leaving everyone totally stunned.
The Hollywood power couple and the surprise split.
Angelina has requested full physical custody, which means all 6 kids would live with her.
Ad Astra, directed by James Gray, will be the apotheosis of this decade. With this astronaut character sent out alone into the farthest reaches, the film is a new mirror for Brad Pitt, a personal introspection.
So many times in my life I've screwed up. I've talked when I should have listened.
Brad Pitt. Well, he's an interesting figure because he is a movie star with movie star looks and charisma, but he's not entirely comfortable with it, which is a great thing, and you feel it in the work. In other words, a movie star is confident in being the center of all attention, and that becomes almost like an invariably conflict-free person in your movie. Brad doesn't have that. Brad has a conflict inside of him. And that was perfect for the part. It's perfect for the character.
24? One more 24. It's just 'cause he gave
The inner conflict James Gray talks about here is that of an actor who has sacrificed everything for the cinema, at the price of this sidereal solitude.
You know, it seems universal that we all carry great pains, great feelings of loneliness, regrets. A breakup of a family is certainly an eye-opener that I had to understand my own culpability in that, and what can I do better, because I don't want to go on like this.
At the end of this decade of fractures, Brad Pitt is no longer the same man. In this film, in the form of a declaration of love for the cinema, the actor finally appears reconciled with his image.
I think the wind blew down my TV antenna last night, so while I piss fart around the wardrobe, you mind going home and fixing it?
I can.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a rebirth. That of a star who not only accepted, but embraced the burden of his glamour. As shown in this scene, where his hunky physique is displayed for the umpteenth time, Brad Pitt has come to understand that nothing will ever damage his sex appeal. Not even aging, which, at almost 60 years old, doesn't prevent him from being the muse of the greatest filmmakers.
And the Oscar goes to Brad Pitt. Once Upon a Time. his first for acting.
Wow. Thank you. This is incredible, really incredible. Thank you to the Academy for this honor of honors. I'm a bit gobsmacked. I'm not one to look back, but this has made me do so, and I think of my folks taking me to the drive-in to see Butch and Sundance, and loading up my car and moving out here, and Gina and Ridley giving me my first shot, to all the wonderful people I've met along the way, to stand here now. Once upon a time in Hollywood, ain't that the truth?
As his retrospective speech suggests, the Oscar doesn't only reward a performance. It implicitly crowns one of the most honest careers of his generation. A life sacrificed to his art. Like this character of a solitary stuntman, in whom he could easily imagine an alternative version of himself. A Brad Pitt who could also have left his native Midwest, but who could have ended up, like thousands of other disappointed hopefuls, behind the big screen, never seeing himself on it.
Hey, Randy. Okay, you fucking horse's ass. Let's get you over to wardrobe.
The truth about Brad Pitt may be hiding in this role. If he hadn't signed his pact with success, the actor would surely have remained this simple man, doing various jobs on the fringes of the industry. A good guy from the Ozarks, displaying his anonymous charisma in a town he knows like the back of his hand, without the recognition being reciprocated.
We seem to be a culture where we will impugn someone for their missteps, but we don't value what is the next move. And the next move, to me, really defines the character of the individual.
As for the secret of his longevity, this is revealed to us through another pact. Brad Pitt has never portrayed the kid from Missouri who fled the Bible Belt at the wheel of his car, alone, without telling anyone, to join the only religion in which he has ever had any faith. That of the cinema.